made by Mr. Goodman. Okay, the first item is approval of the agenda. We have 9 items on the agenda. Are there any changes before we proceed? Okay, if there are none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. Have no public comments. No one signed up this evening, so we'll move on to the discussion item. First item is a quote from Campbell Remediation Services. There's been some discussion in the past about the annex building behind the juvenile probation offices there, that on what to do with that. In order for us to move forward with any type of thing, I think a lot of the talk has been about tearing down that building and having that property for us to do something with in the future. We would have to go through remediation for the asbestos that's in there. So this quote is a quote for those services to have the asbestos removed from that building so that we can tear it down or remodel whatever we wanted to do at that point. So questions or comments on this? We don't have to move forward with this, but I want everybody to have this. What we could do is put this on the next work session. At that time, we'll get back with Campbell and find out if about those 2 clauses that were mentioned. And then if you have someone that you can mention we can get in touch with, or if anyone knows of anyone, we'll also look to see if there's anybody else that we might want to provide us a quote on these services. And of course, we'll probably have to base it on that previous report that was put out. It costs us money to have another report done, but they could use that previous report to base their services on. Okay. Next item is a resolution regarding sick leave. We had talked about allowing our employees to use sick leave towards their time of service. We all have a copy of the draft resolution here to proceed with doing that. And I think Mr. Porter, if you would kind of explain how this does that.
This would only, the county has a policy regarding sick leave, and we're all familiar with that. Accumulate up to 1,200 hours according to the present policy. Accumulate up to 1,200 hours of sick leave. If you leave the county service for anything other than retirement, you don't get anything, but if you retire, you can get paid for up to half of that. For state employees, there is a provision that says that you can use accumulated sick leave to reach the retirement goal for good years of service. And so what this proposed resolution would do would allow our employees the same right that state employees have to use sick leave to reach their retirement goal. They could not use it to reach the 10 years minimum for vesting. You still have to be vested, but the other criteria of 25 years of service, no matter what age, you could use it for that purpose. So that's what it's for. I do have a question in my mind. The information we got from the state several years ago and the current retirement regulations provide for 36 months. You can accumulate up to 36 months, but the statute that I looked at only allowed for 1,200. And I'm sure there is something else out there that I haven't found yet that would allow use of up to 3,600 hours.
I think it's my understanding, in speaking with someone from the state, that's the example, that's actually what the state uses.
Okay.
But they do allow, as the law says, up to 36.
36 months. Right. Okay.
And if we were to do this, regarding local laws, I've given you all a copy of the list of local laws that have been brought up from time to time. We've had several different ideas, and these are some of the ones I think we're ready to bring up this time. It's my understanding that with any of these items we're about to go over, we would have to go through the legislature for this to happen, so that we'll need to pass a resolution in support of it, possibly pass a resolution with an outline of the law and get that to the legislative office. And we do need to do this as quickly as possible, hopefully by January, so they have time to review it, and of course, in that meantime, allow for any public input on these items and of course, share why we want to do it. So we'll go through these one at a time. We'll start from the first. The first item is a $5 tag fee that has been brought up. It would place a $5 fee per tag per year on the current automobile tags. This would be a big portion, and the reason for this is to help with our current budget deficit. As we know, we have nearly $1 million budget deficit in place. This will go a long way towards helping with that. Unfortunately, it is an additional fee, but I think it's something small to keep the services in place that we have. So, okay. Next item is regarding the solid waste and park revenue. Currently, those revenues or those funds are held to themselves. The general fund cannot use those funds for any purposes. The goal in this local law would be to allow ourselves to use solid waste revenues and park revenues to help support the general fund. The park and solid waste are both self-sustaining at this point in time. Again, this would be another large portion of what we would need to get our general fund balance, and it would be a very important part. This doesn't raise any fees in doing this, so that's a positive thing. It allows us to use funds that are there. And a good example on the parks revenue is right now, that money goes back into the park, which is a good thing. But we do have a capital improvement fund, which can only go into capital improvements that we can use as an investment for the park, and then use these funds as to help support the general fund. So you're still putting money into the park. You're not totally losing it. In the same way with solid waste, when we have equipment and things that need to be utilized. This would also allow for a little bit more relationship between public works and solid waste, and being able to help each other out in times of need with the workforce. So, questions or comments on that? Okay. Next item is the business license law. Has been brought up. Currently, the way that the business license system works is everything is done by the state's calculations. They've given us a book on what businesses will pay, and we have no say in that. Of course, all the money goes to the state, and then they give us our portion. So we've talked, there's been some talk about amending this or allowing us to put either an additional fee or amending this to where we can bring that up to date. There's some businesses that may pay $1 for a particular license. So anything that we can do to clean up, anything that a local law could give us liberty on to allow to maybe bring those licenses more in line, I think would be important. This license, and I think one benefit of that is a lot of folks that do business from out of county that are currently coming into county, if they have a business license if I understand this correctly, if they have a business license in Marshall or DeKalb, they don't necessarily have to get one for Jackson County. So by setting a separate one in place, they would have to get one for Jackson County. Other questions or comments on that?
Well, I know if people have from Jackson County have to go into DeKalb County, they have to purchase a license, county license.
So the county is actually saying.
Yeah, if you go from here to Marshall County, you have to purchase a license, but, anybody can come in here and bid against our local contractors and don't have to buy any license, so it's it's not fair for the business owners in Jackson County. So I think this would make it more fair myself.
And that's what several counties, I think, do have a specific license for their county, which